Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today and thank you for your patience. I'm glad to welcome you today on our monthly webinar. My name is Oksana and I'm Education USA advisor. And if you are interested in our monthly webinars or other virtual projects, please scan the QR code on the screen and we'll be glad to see you during our next projects. Today, I'm glad to welcome our wonderful colleagues from TOEFL iBT, and you will be assessed and guided during this wonderful session, both on the current TOEFL iBT format and upcoming 2026 updates. Thank you, Darya, for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Oksana. Thank you so much, Education USA. We are very happy to be here today. I'm also together with my colleague Zeynep. So both of us, we are going to talk about the current TOEFL IBT test, as well as the exciting news, exciting enhancements that we have coming up for all of you guys in 2026. So
Hello,
please,
everyone. Thanks for joining.
great. So please write in the chat which countries are you guys coming from? And when are you planning to take the TOEFL iBT test?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Are you planning to taking it very soon or maybe next year? And which countries are you from? I see someone wrote from Turkmenistan. Hello. Great. Yep. So I see that your answers are coming to the chat. So we will continue and then you will be able to see where you guys come from. Okay, so my name is Darya. I'm the ELT coordinator at ETS EMEA, and my colleague is Zeynep, who is the academic programs and ELT manager. So again, thank you so much for coming and joining us today. So let's start. So we are going to cover different types of topics today. And of course, at the end, you guys will be able to ask questions, and we are here to answer them and guide you through the test. So firstly, we'll cover what is the TOEFL iBT test, the current version, what do you need to know about the updates that we have coming up, and of course, we will share some test preparation and practice resources. So we are very excited, and let's start. So if you guys are planning to take TOEFL iBT in the next basically half a year, so in this year, 2025, then we have some cool things to talk to you about. So firstly, TOEFL iBT, of course, is the world's premier English language proficiency test, which is used for university study, for work, and for immigration. So that means that you guys, if you're planning to apply for a bachelor, master, or PhD programs, TOEFL iBT is your basically key pathway to enter an English-speaking program. Also, if you're planning to work in an English environment or maybe even immigrate to English-speaking countries that require an English test for your visa application, TOEFL iBT is the right choice for you. Also, it is an academic English test. So we measure 4 skills: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And I always love to show this map because you guys can know that TOEFL iBT, it's not only an American test, even though it's preferred there, because 90% of US universities prefer TOEFL over any other English test, but also it is accepted and preferred around the world. Even 100% of UK universities accept TOEFL, including the famous Russell Group of top-tier universities, also European universities. It is accepted across top universities around Asia. In Australia and New Zealand, it is used for immigration. So if you're planning to immigrate to these countries, you'll be required to pass TOEFL for the visa purpose. So a lot of purposes. I know we have some attendees from the Central Asian region. So you know that officially ministries in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan accept TOEFL for university study, for grants, for scholarships. So many, many purposes, many uses around the world. So now let's go a bit in details on how you can test. So you have two choices: either take it at a testing center or do the home version. Both are valid, so it's up to you whether you prefer the comfort of a testing center where you don't need any equipment, or you maybe live remotely quite far, so the home edition will be more convenient for you. So please choose the one that's more convenient. This is the current test format. So TOEFL takes less than 2 hours to complete, and this is basically the fastest high-stake English test, which means less stress for you guys, and you take it fully on a computer. So that's why we call it TOEFL iBT, so internet-based test, because you take it fully in one session on computer, all four skills: reading, listening, speaking, and writing in less than 2 hours. Okay, so what else? Firstly, let's also talk about how the test is scored currently. So you can get up to 120 points on the TOEFL iBT test and maximum 30 per each section. So please, when applying to university, please check out their website on how much they require. Usually it is about 80 for, let's say, middle level universities, so in intermediate level score. But it's up to university, up to the ministry also to set their own requirements based on the needs of their particular program. Okay, and this is how the scored report looks like. Currently, you can get your report online in 4 to 8 days after the test, and the scores are valid for 2 years. All right, so I'm coming close to the end talking about the current test version. Now my colleague Zainab will continue and to talk about the enhancements that we have coming up.
Thank you so much, Darya, for summarizing what we have to share about the current TOEFL IBT that everyone knows very well. But things are changing, and so will TOEFL IBT. You may have heard that there are going to be some enhancements to the test, so I'll just briefly talk about what those enhancements are, and let's start by answering this question: what are the enhancements and why now? Well, I don't think there is need to convince anyone, either here or outside, that the world has changed dramatically, right, over the last few years. The way students, probably the audience here, learn, connect, and communicate has evolved. And of course, so have their needs accordingly. Education used to be about memorizing, it used to be about isolated study and static content. However, today's students are collaborative, they are digital first, and they are globally connected. They're learning through discussions, through videos, applications, and real time feedback and community. Then our role, and of course the role of TOEFL, is to meet them where these students are. And that's what all these enhancements are all about. So it's now time to decipher what FAST stands for. FAST is the acronym that is very much aligned with all these enhancements. We're upgrading TOEFL to make it fairer, to make it smarter, more agile, and tailored. It's all about removing the barriers for learners while preserving the gold standard universities trust. This is one thing we want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable with. The gold standard universities trust will, of course, not change. So let's now have a look at the sections one by one so that you have a clear idea about what you will be assessed upon after January the 21st, 2026. So this is the overview of the updated reading section. Those of you who are already familiar with the current version will realize the differences. So there will be three task types, the first of which is complete the words. There are 10 words to complete per set. There is also another task type called Read in Daily Life. And in this task, there are 2 to 3 questions per passage. And Read an academic passage is very similar to what you can see in the current TOEFL IBT. And here there are 5 questions per passage. The entire reading section takes around 27 minutes with 35 to 48 questions. And the next section is the listening one. And as you can see, there are some changes here as well. So there is a listen and choose a response task where there are 11 to 19 discrete questions on the test. Then there is the listen to a conversation task where there are 2 questions per test, listen to an announcement, 2 questions per announcement, and listen to an academic talk. Here, there are 4 questions. So the input here in the listening comes from not only what a student at the university level will encounter within the classroom, but also outside the classroom. So it can be announcements about a university, let's say competition or anything that can go on within the university or maybe in their daily life. So not very much necessarily about campus life. And this is very much related to making the test a bit more fair. And this is the writing section. Here, there are now 3 tasks. Build a sentence with 10 questions, write an email, 1 question, and write for an academic discussion. This is going to be the same as what you can now see in today's TOEFL iBT. That's only 1 question. So it will altogether, the test taker will have 23 minutes for a total of 12 questions. And finally, the speaking part. Obviously, it has changed as well. So there are 7 questions during which the test taker will ask to listen to an input and repeat exactly what she has heard. And then they're going to answer 4 questions in an interview format. So overall, there are 11 questions, and the test taker will have 8 minutes to respond to these 11 questions. Because we have limited time today, we won't be able to look into each question type, but we already invite you to have a look at the test itself. So if you can just scan the QR code, it will take you directly to an interactive sample where you can just experience the question types yourselves, which are all free, of course, and get used to the task types. When you do that, you will realize that some of the tasks, some of the items in the test may be kind of easier to finish, to complete, compared to what you can see in today's test. This is just because, again, to make it fair as much as possible, because the new test is going to assess a test taker's performance from A1 level to C2 level, which means, of course, there should be some items that assess the test taker to A2 level, B1 level, and such. All right. This is another feature of the new test. Remember, in today's test, just like Darya has mentioned, the top score is 120. And it is not very easy to align it with the CFR leveling because it's from 1 to 6. With the new feature, the score scale will be also from 1 to 6, and it's going to be a much more intuitive way to reflect the proficiency. So as you can see, sorry, C1 here is clearly 5 to 5.5 across all 4 skills. So no more variation like we saw before, or we can still see, where listening is lower than writing, for example, in C1 level. This will make it clearer and more aligned with the CFR leveling, so institutions and students will be interpreting their scores more easily. Uh, but of course, it's not going to be a change overnight in terms of score scaling. To make it a smooth transition as much as possible, we will provide both the 1 to 6 scale and the traditional 0 to 120, 0 to 120 score scale on reports for 2 years after the launch. So students and institutions can transition smoothly. All right. And this is what makes it like adaptive and tailored. Remember the last letter T in the acronym refers to tailored. It is tailored because it's going to be multi-stage adaptive. That is, the test takers, after they complete the first part in each section, especially the reading and the listening, in the second part, they will see questions up to their level. So assume a student is now at B1 level, still time for C1, C2 leveling. So this student will demonstrate, will give responses that will show the system that she is still at B1 level, which means in stage 2, then the questions will be again around B1 to B2 level. This test taker will not see on the screen questions that assess the test taker to C1, C2 levels. And this means the test is going to be more tailored for every single test taker, giving them a fair shot. Okay, so this is the slide that summarizes all the changes. Actually, on the left hand, you can see the current features, and on the very right, you can see the enhancements that will go live on January 2026. To be more precise, on the 21st of January. So that's why we said this is the big question. When are you planning to take the test? If it is any time before January the 21st, then there is no need to make any changes regarding what you are doing right now to get prepared. But if it is any time, either on the 21st or any time after the 21st, then we advise you to get more and more familiar with the new task types. The learning objectives, don't worry, are more or less the same. So it is still a test that makes sure the test taker is up there. The high standards are still there. No worries about that. But now there is room for some other students at lower levels to demonstrate that they are at B1 level, at B2 level, and they need some more time to be there. Which means, of course, there are some different task types to this end. So it's very important for you to make sure you're very much familiar with the new task types so that you don't get confused in the test. So that's all about the changes, which we are very much excited about. Yes, now Darya will be talking about some test prep and practice resources.
Great. Thank you so much, Zainab. And yes, please start writing your questions in the chat, so we will be happy to answer them. Before we step into the Q&A, let's talk about the test prep and practice resources we have for both test versions. So again, if you're planning to take the test before January 2026, right now you will be able to see resources that you can use to achieve a good score and prepare well. So the first one is the TOEFL Test Ready platform. So if you guys have used it or seen it before, please also type in the chat because we are very interested to know that. If you haven't, please visit this website, testready.ets.org. You can register there for free and you will get an access to the platform. So what do you get there? What can you see? Firstly, you will be able to access the rotating activity of the day. So every day when you log into the platform, you will see a new activity. One day it can be about an integrated writing task, next day about reading, etc. So every day something new so you can practice well. Also, you will get access to the full-length free practice test with all 4 sections. And it is very nice because one day you can do a reading section, next day listening, or you can do the whole test all together at once. You can also create your personalized study plan for free with a skill boost. For that, you just need to respond to several questions about which skill you would like to upgrade, how much time you have for preparation, and the platform will generate a personalized study plan for you with different tips, with different links to mock tests, etc. So please try to use it. And also, if you want a more comprehensive approach and you would like to read some books, you can also order books from this platform. So everything is in one place for the current test. In terms of the books, I would like to highlight some of them. The first one is the free test prep planner. This one you can find on by Googling it. Even if you just Google TOEFL test prep planner or visit our website, you can download this one for free. It's a PDF document. It has different skill building activities, sample test questions, and tips for success. So I always recommend this one. Many students use it to prepare well for the test. If you would like, again, a more comprehensive preparation, we have an official guide to the TOEFL iBT and official TOEFL iBT practice test that you can order from the website. So please feel free to choose the one that suits you better. Also, we have some different online courses available. You can see them here. You can scan the QR code and get access to the official online courses and the practice tests. Some of them are for free, some of them you can purchase. So it's up to you to choose the one that will suit your needs the best. Now, Zainab will talk about the new practice resource.
All right. I hope you can hear me because I had some issues with that. All right. So, thank you. If you are planning to take the test after January the 21st, yes, you will need to have a look at the very same page actually, or the ETS web page, and there is going to be a box asking you when you are planning to take the test. And when you see that page, please click on after January the 21st, and there you will be able to see these resources. As you can see, we have a variety of resources already, like around 4 months before the new test. That will make sure that you're ready for the test. So you'll feel totally comfortable, fully comfortable to take the new test. And please stay tuned. Keep checking this page because it will also be updated with new resources very soon. All right, let's talk a little bit about the registration and the test day. And of course, nothing is going to change for either of these test versions, either today, if you take it tomorrow, or in February 2026, it's going to be the same procedure. First of all, you need to have an ETS account. Please create your TOEFL account, for which you need to have the ETS account first. So visit this webpage, www.ets.org, and then /myTOEFL. As you do that, please make sure you write your name exactly the way it is written on your ID. Otherwise, you will have issues during the test day. And you don't need to do this to take the test only. If you want to access the resources, you still need this account. But if you're doing this to register, and if you need any accommodations, please request them before you complete the registration. Okay, this web page will take you to the following steps. And any information, the updated information about TOEFL can be found through this link. And we know there are participants right now from various countries. We do offer some promo codes for discounts for some countries that you can see on the screen now, but we may have more for some other countries. So if you are to take the test from in a country that's not shared here, just reach out to me or Darya, and we'll try to come up with a promo code for your country as well. So these are the ones for Turkey, for Georgia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, all right? And these are the codes. They are valid until the end of September. This doesn't mean you need to take the test until the end of September. By the way, you register using this code by the end of the month, but you can take it like in 2026. But of course, it is kind of limited to a certain number of people, so we suggest that you act fast. All right, and I think that's it, right, Daria? We're ready for the questions.
Exactly. So please, I already see a lot of questions. We'll be happy to respond. So yeah, I see some regarding a lot of people from Turkmenistan. Thank you so much for joining. We will try to request a promo code for Turkmenistan, and we will share that with Education USA. So please follow their
Mhm.
media, social media, and they will post or let you know how to get this code. So thank you. So how much the price?
Unfortunately, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that is a very common question. We haven't been informed regarding the pricing of the new test, and no clues that it's going to be cheaper or more expensive. Probably it will be the same price. And is the test 2 hours? Okay.
Yeah, also in terms of pricing, guys, we cannot give one response because you are all from different countries and different countries have different, let's say, prices for the TOEFL iBT. So please check them out when you register. You will be able to choose the testing center location or the home edition version, and you will see the price for your location. This is the way you can see the price.
Yeah, there is a question about the new test being multi-level adaptive. If you showcase in the first part, not only, of course, with one question, but with a number of questions, both in reading and listening, that you're at around B1 level, it's not very much likely that in the second part you will see C1 level questions. That's what makes it
Thank you
adaptive.
so much for your great presentation. We also have the question about the length of the test. Is the test 2 hours long at the moment or still longer version?
Yeah, at the moment, definitely it's about 1 hour 56 minutes, so less than 2 hours long, which makes it the fastest high stake test in the world.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned in the beginning.
And in 2026, it's going to be even shorter.
That's great, wonderful.
Mhm.
So we have a few questions about promo codes
Hmm.
for Tajikistan, Turkmenistan
Mhm.
as well.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So if you could, Oksana, please gather these countries that are interested and let us know. We will try to request the promo codes for these additional countries as well and share with you with
Sure, sure.
Education
Yeah.
USA.
So please, guys, if you're interested in getting this promo code, write in the chat your country. Don't forget to write it, to mention it, and we will share this promo code with you soon. Another
Mhm.
question, does education USA spread books for preparation?
Mm.
Because all TOEFL IBT will not be a game changer for us. Unfortunately, we do not spread books, but if you have Education USA Center in your country, you can definitely go there and use the library there as well to prepare for exams.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, we have these prep materials available for you guys online, and a lot of them are also for free. So please go to our official website and you can download and access them, even starting from already right now.
Mhm. Well, regarding this question, passing TOEFL exam in the future, I assume it's January 2026. I would say whatever you need to pass TOEFL today will be the same in January 2026. All right, so you don't need to change the way you're preparing because the high stake test is not going to change. So the learning objectives are the same. You don't need to change your approach. The only thing that you need is to spend some time practicing the task types in the new test. And believe me, these are for the lower level tasks. So it will be a piece of cake for you because you're already used to uh, working hard, I can say.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can we have slides from this event? Definitely, guys. We will be able to share the slides with you, and you can use the links from the slides as well. So thank you, our colleagues, for sharing these wonderful resources. And we have another question about the length. What is the total length of the test?
Yeah,
Currently,
so again, yeah, right now it's less than 2 hours long. And as
mhm,
Zainab mentioned, it might be even shorter. So
yeah,
yeah.
it's still under construction. So
Mhm.
stay tuned.
Thank you so much. So there are some questions from our registered participants, not from the chat. How to enhance reading and listening section scores, and what tips and tricks are there to be aware of?
That's a great question, but of course, the answers to this question is for another webinar, let's say. So we do suggest that the participants here do please follow the link, our LinkedIn page, because there will be subject webinars, section webinars for every single section in the upcoming months, of course, for the new test. So if you're asking about the reading and listening for the new test and the tips and tricks, we're going to have like 45 minutes section webinars for reading and then for listening on another day. Uh, but of course, practice and practice, listen to authentic materials, both for listening and reading. I assume this is for the new test. Maybe Darya will talk about the current test. The reading and the listening in the new test will be from daily life context as well. So magazines, any authentic materials, either the audios or the written materials, I think this will take you there.
Mhm.
Great.
Yes, thank you, Zainab. So in terms of the current test, so as you guys know, the reading is mostly academic, right? For the TOEFL iBT, that means we can read academic passages. So university level textbooks on any topic, on any subject that's of interest to you. Whether you're planning maybe to study business, biology, I advise you to have a look at different subjects and university level textbooks. And this way it will be easier for you to really comprehend the text and be able to respond. In terms of listening, please also maybe use YouTube, try to Google some mini lectures in English, right? Watch, I don't know, TED Talks, etc. So different types of academic subjects as well. This way you will be able to prepare for lectures, to listen to lectures in English.
Great. How to balance effective preparation with full-time employment in terms of time management?
Yeah. That's what life is about, balancing. Well, you need to prioritize probably if you have a plan to take the TOEFL, and of course you need to be successful, then you need to prioritize that. It's a matter of balancing things. If you allocate some time for this and you need to forget about the rest in an hour and just focus on that. And it's not only to get ready for a test, it can be to start a new hobby, blah blah, whatever is important for you. I think you need to prioritize that and have a spare time away from your family, away from your other responsibilities, just to focus on your new goal, I would say.
Yeah, and also what I do, guys, is that if I need to prepare for something, for example, after work, when you go home, right, you're taking the bus or your car, you're driving, you could just turn on some podcasts, right, and try to listen to these academic topics, or you're in your earphones riding a metro, why not, right? At the same time, you can listen to English speech and this way prepare. So use your time effectively. Mhm.
Yeah, definitely agree. Thank you so much for sharing so valuable pieces of advice. And of course, we have many questions about the new format.
Mhm.
Is the format going to be easier compared to the current version, or it's just going to be adaptable?
Okay, there will be some easier questions for sure, because as I try to clarify, the test is now going to have a score report for students, for test takers at A1 level. So the score report will be from A1 to C2, which means there should be items at lower levels, but this doesn't make the test easier overall. If a test taker needs B2 or C1 from the TOEFL IBT, then they still need to demonstrate the same high level English skills. So it is adaptable. It is going to be adaptable for sure. But of course, there are easier tasks for lower level students.
Thank you so much. Another question. I'm currently studying at a university in Romania, also interested in taking the TOEFL test. So wanted to ask if there are options for students who are already enrolled in the university abroad to register for and take the exam.
So,
Oh,
well, of course, it's available to take if you guys, no matter where you are, we have testing
mhm.
centers and home version available around the world. So please, yeah, of course, we'll be happy to if you take the test. We have many prep resources. So yes, go ahead.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Great. Another question about resources. Are we getting books related to the new test format anytime soon? I think it's about the new updates. Yeah, so probably.
For
Uh,
sure, there is a big team working only for this in Princeton, ETS, of course. There are so many resources available already on the web page. The book is coming, as far as I know, in January, so please stay tuned. And that was another question. Maybe it's an earlier one about the changes being stated or shared on the web page. They're already over there, so please check the webpage if you are interested in the details of all these changes. These are not secrets, they're already available to the public.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So,
Mhm,
dear audience, please check social media
mhm,
regularly and the
mhm.
website, of course.
The website.
Yeah, the question about books and Education USA, it's the same, guys. You can check with your Education USA center, but as soon as these books are accessible for our centers, yeah, I'm sure that we will be able to provide these books to you. So, probably next year, starting from
Mhm,
January, as it
mhm.
was mentioned already. How many lessons are normally enough or recommended to prepare for the TOEFL iBT new version on average?
I would say it's the same as the current one. Plus, I feel Nariman is a teacher because she had an earlier question about how much time to teach the test. So, if you are a teacher and interested in teaching to the test, please again check the webpage where you will see the link to register for the Teaching TOEFL IBT Skills workshop online. And this is for the new test, and it will give you more and more insight regarding every single task type and, of course, how to prepare your students for this. And again, on the web page, if you are a teacher, there are around 20 lesson plans prepared to this end already.
Okay. Why TOEFL, not IELTS? What's the difference?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get this question quite often, right, Zainab? So,
Yeah.
well, for me personally, firstly, as we mentioned before, TOEFL is shorter, right? So, for example, TOEFL is less than 2 hours, IELTS is almost 3 hours long. Also, TOEFL IBT is taken in one session on a computer versus the fact that IELTS is taken on in two sessions, right? So you have to take the speaking section on a separate day. You go speak with the proctor. So this takes your time, especially if you're studying, if you're working. But TOEFL IBT, you take within one session, less than 2 hours, done, right? And you're ready to go, basically. So yeah, these are one of the main highlights. Maybe Zainab, you also have some personal ones you would like to share?
Sure, I was just trying to find the link for the teacher's webinar and the workshop. Well, I would say the way TOEFL IBT assesses those four skills is a great way to simulate the academic life. So we always kind of uh, we're proud of the fact that TOEFL IBT assesses the skills in the way they are really used in the academic life. So it's not that students prepare for the test just to be successful for the test only, but it's a great tool to prepare the students for the next step of their lives. And I find it very much meaningful because it becomes a real life task, and then those students are a few steps ahead of their peers in the classroom.
Thank you so much. Maybe you have like a kind of one form to register for all the webinars that you provide for students and instructors, or just
Uh,
social medias to follow.
there is a separate registration link for every
Mhm.
single webinar. That's why I suggested that they do follow our LinkedIn page, because they will be able to see the post for every single webinar. I'm trying to find the link for the TTS workshops. If you are a teacher, you might be interested in this one.
And also, Oksana, if we could share with you with Education USA or all these links, maybe you can make a post
Yep.
and publish that so that our listeners will be able to find it easily.
Yeah.
So we'll combine everything and send to you guys through Education USA. Please
Yeah,
follow them
of
as well.
course. Yeah, we will glad to share all these resources with you guys. So you have the last chance to ask your questions, and right now you can also follow the link in the chat and find
Mhm.
some useful resources for teachers, right?
For teachers, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
for teachers. That will
Great.
also carry you to the registration page for the TTS workshop, which is only this Thursday, 2 days from now.
Yep. Wonderful. Okay, I think we are done for now. It was a wonderful discussion. Thank you so much for this valuable information about upcoming changes. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, everyone. Good luck with your TOEFL IBT, and we are
Yeah,
always here to support you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
see you
okay,
during our next webinars.
sure.
Bye.
Bye.